Phoenix Awakened podcast, true life stories of the psychic and metaphysical adventures in the unknown worlds of Alison and Jason, and let us go down the rabbit hole to the unknown. Today's topic is Alison's little topic, CERN.
This is a really interesting one. A couple of days ago, I actually watched a video where it said something about a real genius kid had stated that CERN had actually opened a portal to another dimension. And I watched it and it was actually very fascinating. How they described it is this kid reckons that the timeline had been shifted and CERN had actually were working on whatever project they were working on and somehow destroyed the original universe that we were in and opened up another portal and catapulted the world to a completely different dimension or universe. And this is what also came into effect of possibly the Mandela effect as well. I found this really interesting because there's so many different topics out there and so much stuff about CERN, which we're not really here to discuss about CERN per se. It's more about whether or not our perception on this video really and the different understandings of what we know as well. What is your take on this?
Yeah, it's crap. People messing around with things they don't understand and trying to shift us one way, which is not beneficial for any of us. This is again what I believe, and leave things alone. So there's big hidden agendas for this, and I will go into what I have been told through channeling.
Yep.
Believe that or not, whatever, that's okay. But I feel that what is being playing out is affecting everyone, the weather, everything that's playing out around the world. It's big stuff.
Yeah.
Because we are always putting out there for everyone to be moving forward, freedom, all this other stuff. It is unfortunately getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. And there's a lot of light workers who are trying to bring up the light frequency for things to play out, I believe, in a beneficial, positive way for humanity. Yeah. Not the other side of the coin where there's another group of beings trying to, let's just say, destroy, control, manipulate, kill off the population. Yeah. And I feel that's a big possibility that CERN is a part of that agenda which is playing out. And it was a big deal when it did happen. And this kid, I feel, is on the money with it's there to change things, not for the better. It's a very concerning thing.
I found it really interesting because it actually questions a lot of the things that we have come to understand, a lot of the things that we have discovered. So for example, we have heard the perception that we are on a bigger earth. If what this kid said is true, are we actually on a bigger earth?
And we in a dome.
And
are we in a dome?
Are we in a dome on a bigger earth? So that was one of the questions that I had. What does this mean for the Matrix game? Because the other question for me personally, because of my personal experiences with the Matrix game as what I've experienced, like literally seeing pixelations all around me, is this, or does that also say that this is a Matrix game? And if it is, did we just get moved into a completely different Matrix game, a different system? Another question is, we did have questions about was this meant to play out as well? For me, I found this really an interesting topic only because of the things that we have discovered and what we understand for ourselves as well. And I think the big one at the moment for me is about the bigger earth one. Does that mean that are we actually on a bigger earth and we're in a dome, or are we actually a globe that has been moved in and shifted into a completely different universe and reality and timeline? Because this also comes, like I said before, comes into the Mandela effect, which I also found really interesting, where in this same video the topic was, did Nelson Mandela actually die in the 1980s, or did he actually die in 2013? Yeah. So things like along those lines, I wanted to talk about it because I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about.
Oh, did Mickey Mouse have braces on or not?
Yes, that's right. I actually don't remember. Do you?
No.
I actually don't remember if
it's been a while since I've watched Mickey Mouse cartoons.
I don't remember if he had braces on or not.
I don't know.
what is your understanding of now listening to that video and listening to the kid? Because I believe, or I feel like, I don't feel like the kid's making any bullshit, because he's not going to say this is what's happened. You know, are we actually just on a globe, or are we actually on a bigger earth? And if we're on a bigger earth, then did they actually open up a portal to another universe?
Or are we just mice in a maze, a digital maze? Can I go back? Because it's a possibility this has been written in stone for a long time. I'm going to go back to being a student again.
Yep.
A teacher was channeling a cat being.
Yep.
She said that she's from Andromeda.
Yep.
And I could see my teacher change into a cat being.
Yep.
Like physically see her change.
Yep.
Did probably 50 channelings. Some of them have been written down, I've got, still to this day. She talked about that there are going to be a lot of people passing over in years to come. She didn't mention how or why or when. She just gave a little gold nugget. The spirit realm is going to be very busy.
Yeah.
My understanding is that on the writing or on the writing on the rock or whatever, it's been a big forecast since I've been around that there's going to be population removal by 3/3. And they're still playing out that agenda to this day.
Yeah.
And this is information going back over 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Also, there was talk about viruses wiping out humanity as well, regardless if it was created by nature or created by man. That was going to help humanity move into the spirit realm. And that's played out now. And I had dreams about that stuff playing out and seeing the devastation of the globe and stuff like that. That hasn't played out yet. But now they're talking about nuclear war. So everybody knows that goes down. That's not good. So it's funny how all this stuff's playing out, and I got told, and I've been shown this 25 plus years ago. So is it just part of the script that's being played out now and 2025? Because I think things are going to go down in 2025. People are forecasting 2025, 2030. And the world government per se is saying that's going to be a very hard time because that's what's being created. But it's all being created because they're just all following a script.
Yeah.
We are literally living in a scripted book or movie or whatever it is. And all these things have to take place to fulfill that, including CERN.
Yeah. Then is the question, all of this playing out has all been written, therefore the actions that has happened at CERN, whether or not to shift us into a completely different universe, reality dimension, whichever way you want to look at it, that's also been scripted as well. And then the question is, again, are we? Have we? We're not really 100% sure because...
Well, both you and I understand and feel that there's been big changes behind the scenes. We can just feel and tap into this stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, things have changed.
And there has been a shift.
Yeah.
Since CERN did that.
Yeah.
On another level.
Yeah.
Plus all the stuff playing out before that.
Yeah.
Like the pandemic and that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
And now there's food crisis and all that energy crisis, stuff like that. It's all playing out to produce a particular agenda. Endgame agenda. To the answer to your question about is it a dome on a larger planet or a larger Earth, I drew a picture very, very long time ago. It's my visual art book. And I didn't know about any of this stuff back then. This is going back 1998 or something, a long time. And I drew these dome cities, which could be on planet Earth, and people flying around on little space machines with bubbles on their heads. Like it was a bubble machine and there's these spaceship flying around and there's all these bubble cities or whatever. I'm just getting, maybe it is true that we are a dome on a bigger Earth because of that picture I drew so long ago. Yeah. And I got given that just then. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all just hearsay. Yeah. Because it's all different people's perceptions and insight and psychic insights. Nobody really knows the actual truth. No, because the amount of times that things have been re-looped and reset and everything along those lines, someone might actually remember something different compared to someone else. Yeah. Especially if you're talking about the Mandela effect. Yeah. Where it's designed to change things slightly. Yeah. Because I was actually thinking about that for the Elvis one that we were talking about. What if the Mandela effect happened and Elvis actually didn't die?
But
the parallel universe.
yeah. So that was one of the, when we were talking about that, the Mandela effect came to mind with that one as well. However, saying that if things have shifted backstage on an energetic level and we are in a completely different universe and different timeline, Elvis is still past. Yeah. So that part hasn't shifted. But the Nelson Mandela one is actually quite interesting.
Yeah, because they said that he either died early on or later on.
And does it come down to having to do the actions for that to play out?
And we talked about that today.
Yeah.
With readers doing tarot.
Yeah.
There was somebody on Facebook that does readings, and she did a reading for somebody, and that person received the reading.
Yeah.
And then they came back to her and said, everything you told me has not come true. And she said, you didn't do the actions.
Or did you do the actions for that to happen? Yeah.
And I always thought when you get a reading, there should be no actions to be done.
Well, that's what I always thought as well. Yeah.
Because I've done reads.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of reads over the years. I don't do them now. Further healing work. And I've experienced something similar as well when I've had reads where none of it played out until I did the actions for it to play out. Because my understanding about a reading is that psychic, that reading is really just reading the script from you. Your, on your, I don't know, your aura or your whatever it is. You're just reading the script within the person. And the reader has the ability, using cards or whatever tools, able to read the script from you. So there should be no action really being taken per se.
No, that is my understanding as well, that you go to a reader to be able to tell what your future is going to be like, who you're going to meet, what's going to happen with your job, those kinds of things. And there shouldn't be any action. Well, the perception is that there's not supposed to be any action taken. However, is there actually supposed to be action taken? This is another question. Because in that case, how was the client meant to understand that they needed to take that action?
So how do you bring that back to what we're discussing now, CERN?
Well, because that comes down to, did CERN have to take that action in order for
these other agendas to play out?
Yes.
Big possibility.
And is that part of the script for the whole entire game?
So the game, the matrix, the game, the script, the whatever you want to call it, is shifting to a new reality, and there's certain actions that have to be played out.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are being played out quite well.
Exactly.
Energy crisis, financial crisis, banks falling. I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to what you said with the cat bean saying a lot of the predictions that this cat bean had said, were this actions already written in stone? And also CERN being a part of it too, to move, shift, whatever the reality that we're in. Was that also part of the script? Yeah, possibly. Otherwise, why would it have happened?
And what's the end game for everything?
Well, I guess that's something that I don't know if anyone would know, because everyone can have a perception of what the end game is. Is there someone that actually does know what the end game is? And is the end game going to be beneficial or not beneficial? I'm going to say probably not beneficial at the moment, at this present moment.
From our understanding in this moment in time.
That can again shift, like you said, because of the light workers that are here.
Yeah, and I've always said, and many of us as light workers have always said, if humanity has a common thought, feel, action, all came together and did a positive, say, love thought or a thought or a feeling of everybody being free and, everything being fantastic, that would change in an instant.
I want to know, coming from a matrix game perception, have we been shifted into a different matrix game? That's another question that I want to know.
And that would be perhaps part of the script for that to play out.
Yeah. So the original game had been done and dusted. And all the actions, everything that's taken place, whether it's CERN or whether it is just a dog peeing on a wall, all those actions had to take place for things to shift to go into a new universe. Again, let's keep it simple and say a new experience. Okay, a new experience. Sorry, I'm getting a bit complicated.
No, but I'm just trying to, for myself, my little brain, just trying to, dumb it down to like because this is all based, our understanding is based on experience.
Because a lot of the time, and you're right, we have said that things feel different, even down to the weather. Like the weather feels different. If any of you guys remember what it was like to smell rain, have you smelt it in a while? When was the last time you smelt rain?
Yeah, because we have a few times, but it's rare that you do.
It's almost like there's no more smell. Even like here in Australia, especially in Victoria, it's been raining non-stop.
Yeah, flash flooding.
Yeah.
Devastation of floods wiping out
Raining
people,
non-stop,
homes.
and yet there is no smell. Whereas before you could smell rain coming a mile away.
Yeah, that's a good point. So is the Matrix revealing itself to be more fake every moment?
Possibly. And have you guys had experiences similar to this as well? Have you had an experience where you thought you perceived something and you feel and you know that it's true, but what everything around you is telling you is actually not true? Like my mum is actually a really good example. She borrowed a portable oven from a friend, and she swears black and blue that this portable oven had some kind of yellow protective plastic around it or something along those lines. And she swears black and blue that it did. However, she doesn't remember having it. Like she remembers it being there, but she doesn't know where she put it. It's like that was a complete blank. Like a loss of time kind of thing.
Yeah, she was discussing the story.
Yeah.
And she was 100% convinced.
Yeah. And then apparently the friend had the plastic wrapping or something along those lines.
Yep.
That I find strange. That she swears black and blue, but yet she has no, like in that, like from thinking that she had yellow plastic to having the oven, like there's a section that's missing. And how many times does that happen to us as well?
Where all of a sudden thoughts just go missing.
Yeah. I guess as much as this is a great topic, and I still find it a fascinating topic, there's more questions than there are answers. And I feel like we all need to question. And
ask questions. Keep on asking questions.
Yeah. We all need to question. We all need to find out what the real truth is going on.
Not always go with the flow with what's playing out. Question it. Because a lot of people out there are now, well, the government says one thing, but a lot of people will follow what the government says, the governments or whatever it is, people to be in power. You do this and you'll be fine. But we're working out now that's not the case.
No, because the governments are actually literally employed by the people.
By the people. Which is not by us. It's something else. We work for the governments. The governments don't work for us. That's what's played out.
Yes. Yeah. I think I just had my moment of glitching.
You had a glitch, but
I had a glitch.
Yeah, because in our psyche we believe we hire the governments per se to, help manage.
Yeah.
And
there's actually not
over time we employ them to manage us.
Yeah. That is actually. You're spot on that.
And we're going to elect another politician who really wanted to wreck Victoria, and everybody would just vote for him because they've forgotten. No,
they're not going to actually vote for him.
No,
don't put it out there.
I'd be very interested to see what plays out. I already know how it's going to play out because I feel that people forget.
People do forget. Because you're right. I remember doing a walk-in vlog for AJ. It's one of our other YouTube channels, AJ Living. And there was a section, like I was talking about stuff about this podcast, actually, telling people about the podcast. And I remember all of a sudden remembering information or remembering the experience of what happened during those years. And I literally thought, well, if I forgot and we're pretty clued on to what's going on, that means that everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of other people would have forgotten as well.
Yeah, because people want to get back to normality.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We talked about trauma. That's a really big trauma for the collective.
Yeah.
So people want to forget to move on with their lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not going to be helping them out.
No.
Because it's just always re-looping.
I just had to take a sip of water just previously because I started coughing and my face is starting to itch. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's energies around trying to distract me. Because
the conversation might be irritating.
Yeah. And I do pick up on people's irritation.
Yeah, especially mine.
I'll pick up on his irritation a lot.
And at the moment, I get irritated a bit.
Going back to the original topic of why we chose this topic. I just find it fascinating because, again, does it mean that we are actually on a bigger Earth? Does it mean that we're actually not on a bigger Earth? Does it mean that we are actually a hologram? I still believe we're hologram. This game is a hologram.
Well, that's from your very personal, practical, first-hand experience.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen or heard of my experience of the Matrix, literally my experience, we do have a video saying, do we live in a Matrix reality? Because this is coming from my own personal experience of why I still feel that. And then if it being a game, from my own personal experience, did we just jump into a different game?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I reckon we have too. Because everything around you, if you've noticed things changing, not necessarily, it might have been a person, or maybe Quartz Crystal Lady. She also mentioned something about but she mentioned if you go into different frequencies, there might be something that you thought was there originally and it might actually not be there. Or what if you go to a different frequency, there might be something different that was never there before and you remember it clearly not being there. But all of a sudden, like for example, you're walking down the street and all of a sudden there's a new building that you have no idea how it happened.
Yeah, it just turns up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. But you clearly remember it being there or not being there. Yeah.
Yep.
So even back then, she was also talking about stuff like that. But that also comes down to different frequency. Again, being if they did open a different portal to a different dimension, universe or something along those lines, that would actually be a different frequency too.
Therefore, things would be very, very different.
Yes. Yet it's more slight differences.
Yeah, it's little.
Yeah.
So you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Because everybody noticed. If it was big and everybody noticed it,
everyone would wake up.
There'd be a hoo-ha.
Yeah.
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 Hubba hubba hoo-ha. Yeah. Because I still feel some days I go to bed and I'm going to wake up in a completely different reality. And on a level, perhaps we have.
It's a possibility. Because I keep going back to the weather. Because to me, the weather, I don't know about the rest of the world. I know there's a lot of
stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the rest of the world. I just know here in Victoria, Australia, the weather has actually been very different. And I have spoken to people that, because it's constantly cloudy, constantly raining, pretty much dark city type.
And living in UK.
Yeah, I've spoken to people that have just said they're over the weather, they're over the rain, they're over the clouds, they just want sunshine. And it does feel like it's a completely different reality. Yeah.
Yeah, I've really noticed it probably the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Where it's been non-stop.
And the funny thing is, I noticed that video that I watched or that we watched on YouTube was posted 9 months ago.
Oh, the CERN?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was posted so what's 9 months ago? So we're in October, so the end of October, Halloween. So the whole of October, September, August, July, June, May, April, February, January. Oh, so the beginning of the year.
Yeah, because we're now in November, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much. Pretty much, it's Halloween today.
It's Halloween today.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween,
Happy
everyone.
Halloween, everyone. We probably should have started with that, but...
Yeah, but this won't be put out there for...
This is not a Halloween special.
No.
So it was actually posted 9 months ago, being about the beginning of the year, possibly end of last year. And end of last year was when everything started to come back into some sort of normality here in Victoria.
And then it shifted again. And then the shifting of the whole planet, because I know that everybody's going through hard yards and everybody's predicting that it's going to be a harder yard by 2023, which is the gear up. I keep on saying 2025, there's something big going to happen. So it's all gearing up to 2025.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say 2025, because when I was in the cottage and all that weird stuff was going on, you can watch that and listen to that. I was putting something into YouTube to find something, a date or something. I don't know what I was doing, but I accidentally put in 2025 and I got this doomsday feeling, anxiety, fear like I've never felt before on that date. And I went, shit. And I didn't get told. It was just it's like I got told through a feeling of how devastating that year is going to be. I'm hoping I'm completely wrong, and I hope that we can shift it if that's the case. But it did alarm me to a point where I was like, shit. And everything is being pushed with the CERN and everything else that's playing up around the world, shifting into that, closer to that timeline. So it'd be great if we could all come together and shift it back to what we want to shift it back to.
I was going to say, like, how can we shift it back? It would have to be everyone.
Well, at least they say 10%.
Well, apparently, even on legal matters here in the physicality, if you change 10%, then it's changed pretty much. Yeah. I don't know if we actually answered any questions. We've definitely asked more questions.
Yeah, we were just talking about it yesterday, and you just thought, oh, it's a good idea. Let's just chat about it.
Because I thought it might be an interesting topic to chat about. We might get some insight. We might get distracted. If you have any experiences, we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, or you have more understanding or knowledge. Yeah, please, share the description.
Yeah, share with us. We'd love to hear.
And more of us that come together. I do think, not just think, but feel that a positive mindset is a big deal, and feeling emotionally positive as well is a big help as well. Trying to balance out this seesaw effect going on. Yeah,
we got to try and be as positive, like genuine positive, not putting things under the rug kind of positive, like actual genuine positive about wanting things to shift, or just within us, really.
But each one of us, if we shift ourselves, I shift me to a high frequency, and I look after my own backyard, and everybody does the same, that's going to be the big shift as well.
Yeah, because I can actually feel when you are not so happy as opposed to being genuinely happy. I can feel the difference. Yeah,
it's a totally different vibrational frequency. Yeah.
And it actually does affect me. I was getting that
vice versa.
I was actually getting that photo that we put in one of the other videos that we did, where this guy came along and he was glowing and he was all happy and stuff like that, and he just stood in a crowd, and as he stood in the crowd being happy, his energy shifted everyone else around him.
And that's one person.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I know exactly, and you know with me exactly when we're in a good vibration or when we're not in a good vibration, and you would probably pick it up as well. If we all can genuinely be happy in a positive vibration as best as we can, we can make great shifts.
Keep putting that out there.
Yeah, positive vibes, happy vibes, genuinely positive vibes.
Yeah, do stuff that brings you joy as much as you can.
Yeah.
Do your research, take note what's going on, try not to get caught up in the drama of it as much as they would like you to. Observe, try not to jump into the feeling of it per se. Do your homework and do everything, be practical, that will help.
Yeah, and be creative. If being creative makes you joyful, brings love into your heart, do that. Go for a walk, be creative. Be happy.
Little things.
Yeah.
Hold hands with your loved one.
Yeah. I like holding hands with Jason.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, he likes holding hands with me too.
We have fun. Anything else before we go?
No, I am actually really good. I enjoyed this conversation. I like coming up with questions that we're not entirely too sure what the answer is, but it doesn't mean that we might actually be asking a question for someone else too.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We're just here to help people look at things in a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe activate or trigger positive wisdom or knowledge that people have. We are very clever species.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can nut this one out, people.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, let's create a better reality for ourselves and each other.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No. I'll stop crapping on.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope that we were able to bring some or share some light onto a topic that I guess not everyone is completely aware of. And we hope that we're able to share some understanding and knowledge of what we perceive to be, what our perception is. And always question everything.
Yeah. And if you'd like to support us, you can buy us a coffee.
Oh yeah, we would love a coffee.
Yeah, we enjoy our coffee, and we will see you in the next one. You will hear us in the next one.
We will see you and hear us in the next one.
Love and blessings. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.